Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of company earnings reports and mergers or acquisitions, the big stuff. And today we have a huge one, Pointe Homes' latest annual filing. And let me tell you, it has got some fireworks, especially with that acquisition news. So Pointe Homes is a big player in building homes across the country, and this report for the end of 2025 tells us a lot about their financial health, and importantly, a massive deal they've announced. Let's dive in and see what is really going on under the surface. Alright folks, the biggest news right out of the gate is that Pointe Homes is being acquired by Sumitomo Forestry Company Limited. This is a massive deal announced on the 13th of February 2026. Basically, Sumitomo Forestry is buying Pointe Homes for $47 in cash for every share of stock. This means Pointe Homes will no longer be a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. It is a huge change, and it is going to affect everything from how the company operates to what happens to the shares you might own. Now, while this deal sounds like it is a done deal, it is important to remember that it is still subject to getting approval from Pointe stockholders, and also from regulatory bodies. It is not a done deal until all those boxes are checked. If this merger falls through for any reason, it says here it could really hurt the company's financial performance and the stock price. It is a big risk they acknowledge right away. Let's talk money, because that is what everyone really cares about. For the year ended the 31st of December 2025, Pointe Homes reported home sales revenue of $3.36 billion. That is a pretty big number, but here is the catch: revenue dropped by 23% compared to the previous year. That is a significant drop, and it is mainly because they delivered 23% fewer homes. Think about it, if you are selling fewer homes, your revenue is going to go down. Now, something interesting they did last year was buy back their own stock. They repurchased about 8.5 million shares. This reduces the number of shares outstanding, which on the surface can make the earnings per share look better, even if the total profit is lower. It's a bit like dividing a smaller pie among fewer people. Each slice might seem bigger. They spent a pretty big chunk, $277.2 million on these buybacks. The company talks a lot about growth, and a big part of that is buying up land. They own or control over 32,000 lots across the West, Central, and East regions. This is their future building inventory, so it is super important. But they've seen a 12% drop in the total number of lots owned or controlled compared to the year before. That is a sign that they're either being more selective or that the land market is becoming tougher. They also mention in their risks that finding and buying good land at the right price is crucial for their long-term success. Let's look at how much profit they're making on each home sold. Their home building gross margin percentage went down to 21% in 2025 from 23.3% in 2024. That might not sound like a huge difference, but in the business world, even a couple of percentage points can mean millions of dollars. They blame this drop on things like inventory write-downs, which means they had to lower the value of some of their land and homes on their books, and also higher incentives they had to offer to sell homes. This means they are making less profit on each home they sell. Now, every company has risks for Pointe Homes. The list is pretty long. They are worried about things like rising interest rates making it harder for people to buy homes, shortages in building materials causing delays and costing more, and even bad weather or natural disasters messing with their projects. They also point out that competition is fierce, and some of their larger competitors have deeper pockets. One area they are taking very seriously is cybersecurity. They have a whole program designed to protect their systems and customer information. They mention annual audits, penetration testing, and training for their employees. Even though they have not had any major incidents so far, they admit that the risk is always there, and a successful attack could really hurt their business and reputation. Pointe Homes is trying to build a balanced portfolio by expanding into new markets like Orlando and the Carolinas, while also focusing on efficiency and smart growth in their established areas. They emphasize their experienced leadership and a focus on providing a great customer experience. The acquisition by Sumitomo Forestry definitely shakes up this strategy, but for now, they're painting a picture of a well-run company looking for sustainable growth. Let's talk about debt. They have a significant amount of debt, totaling over $1.1 billion. The ratio of their home building debt to total capital is about 25%. While this isn't sky high, it does mean they are using a fair amount of borrowed money to run their business. They mentioned that a downgrade in their credit rating could make it harder and more expensive to borrow money, which is a key part of their financing strategy. So, what is the overall picture here? Pointe Homes is navigating a tough housing market with lower sales and profits compared to the year before. The acquisition by Sumitomo Forestry is the massive story happening right now, and it is going to redefine the company's future. On one hand, they have a solid base of land and a strategy focused on growth and customer experience. On the other hand, they face market risks, competition, and the integration of this huge acquisition. Looking at the numbers, the drop in revenue and profit margins is a concern, especially when you factor in the increased incentives they're using to move homes. The acquisition offers a new chapter, potentially bringing more resources and stability, but there are always risks in these big business transactions. The fact that they mentioned a large termination fee if the deal falls through really highlights how serious they are about it, while also protecting themselves from potentially losing out on a done deal. Ultimately, Pointe Homes is in a period of significant transition. The success of this merger will be the key factor to watch. We will be keeping a close eye on how this acquisition plays out. Alright, that is our breakdown of Pointe Homes' latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.